What's good? I'm Woog. Adrien the Problem Broner versus Mikey Garcia. This is a very interesting matchup. You have an undefeated Mikey Garcia who's moving up in weight from 135 to 140 to meet the super talented Adrien Broner who's moving back down from 147 pounds to 140. I see there being three components to this fight. Well, actually, you can make that two. The third was going to be the commitment issue because of Broner's constant legal drama outside of the ring, but I think that Broner knows what's at stake here and is fully committed, so let's make that a non-issue, although it is a concern. The remaining two components to the fight are the style and the weight issues. Let's start with the styles. Mikey Garcia is an excellent, skilled boxer with knockout power. Very heavy-handed, he's won about 80% of his fights by knockout. He's a very good defensive fighter, moves his head well, and sets his power punches up behind a solid jab. He moves around the ring without running and just keeps the opponent off balance while using his jab, changing levels and setting up vicious combinations with power in both hands. Garcia has very good ring mobility. He uses his feet to create distance and then close the distance with fluid movement, whereas Adrien Broner is more flat-footed with a wider stance, similar to that of Floyd Mayweather, but with less bend in the knees and lacking the upper body lateral movement and up and down level changes that Floyd uses so brilliantly. Broner likes to advance one step at a time while inviting his opponent to come within range and then relies on having the faster hands, getting his punches off first with right hands, left hooks, and uppercuts, all fast. He mixes his attack up pretty well, although his activity level isn't always where it should be. You get the feeling that he could be a busier puncher and let his hands go a little bit more, but when he does throw, he's very accurate, very effective. And Broner's an underrated defensive fighter. He's able to hide his chin pretty well, and opponents know that to get to that chin, they'll be vulnerable to Broner's fast, accurate shots. That's just the price of admission that opponents have to be willing to pay to get within their striking range, and it keeps their punch output low and keeps Broner in control of the action. As far as the weight issue goes, Garcia, as I mentioned, is an undefeated fighter who spent most of his career knocking people out at featherweight, which is 126 pounds, and then went up to junior lightweight, 130 pounds, for 3 fights and won them all, 2 by knockout versus solid opponents. He then took a year and a half off while involved in a contract dispute with his promoter. When Garcia returned to the ring, he looked like a more physically mature person. Instead of the skinny build, he had a broader, more muscular build, and his next 2 fights were at 1 to 2 weight classes higher than he'd ever been. He won both of those fights by knockout, which indicates that he's able to carry his punching power up as he moves up in weight. But he hasn't fought any good competition up there, so it's kinda tough to tell. His older brother and trainer, Robert Garcia, a former champion himself, says that fighters in their gym in Oxnard, California, who have sparred with Mikey Garcia, have also sparred with several other fighters, including Saul Canelo Alvarez and Marcos Maidana, both of whom are bigger than Garcia, say that Mikey hits harder than both. And Maidana is one of the only 2 people to beat Broner, knocking him down twice on the way to a decision victory, and Maidana is more of a brawler and is less skilled than Garcia. Now, how reliable is that testimony on Garcia's power? We don't really know. What we do know is that Garcia has never lost, knocks most of his opponents out, and is facing a much bigger, stronger, and faster opponent than he's ever faced. Adrien Broner, on the other hand, is coming back down in weight from 147 to 140, which he's had trouble doing as of late, losing his 140-pound championship on the scales as he failed to make weight in his last fight at 140, just over a year ago. Dropping a lot of weight gets tougher to do as you get older, and sometimes impacts a fighter's performance, rendering them lethargic and sluggish. So there's a big question mark on whether Broner can make weight and if he can do so comfortably. You can even go online and see video of Broner looking like he's 160 pounds or even more, so he'll have his work cut out for him. So, what do I see taking place? Broner's got the faster hands and is a naturally bigger guy, while Garcia is the more technical boxer. We don't know yet who's the harder puncher, especially while fighting at this 140-pound weight class. In fairness, after Broner missed weight in that fight and lost his title, he went on to stop his opponent Ashley Theophane in the 9th round, so we know that he does damage at 140. I'm pretty sure that this fight is going the 12-round distance. I think that both of these fighters are too good of survivors to get knocked out in this fight. I think that it'll be easier for Garcia to maintain his strength and endurance moving up in weight than it will be for Broner to maintain his while moving back down. And although Broner will be Garcia's biggest, strongest, and fastest opponent yet, I think that there are too many drop-offs in Broner's activity level, his punch output, and that Garcia will be the busier fighter, which can win him a lot of the close rounds on the judges' scorecard. I can almost picture the moments when Garcia is throwing combinations, while Broner's shaking his head indicating, "That didn't hurt," while throwing only one punch at a time in return. I've got Garcia beating Broner by decision in a close competitive fight. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.